Now, before we talk about this subject, I'd like to stress out that, first of all of the information here is subjective, it's just opinions. However, I've gathered the opinions of multiple people from the community just to get an idea about what everyone else thinks. Now, for an example, let's just say that I'm contradicting myself here. I'm going to be talking about Pip in a bit, and I'm going to say that Mega Potion might not work as a solo support, and yet I play Mega Potion Pip. You don't have to be toxic to them or harass them. That will get you banned, okay? Now, if they're playing a bad talent and they're refusing to switch to a different one, because you can actually pause the game and switch loadouts, or press U if you're on PC and switch loadouts and talents before the match actually starts. Well, if they refuse to do that and then feed intentionally by, for example, not healing the team whatsoever or not playing, well, then you can report them. However, you can win with players using the default loadouts. Yes, there's actually diamond level 52 barrack players that use the default loadouts, okay? And that's just hilarious. They're in Diamond Plus and they win using that just because they're compensating for their disadvantage with game sense. So please don't be toxic to anyone just because they're running their favorite playstyle. I know that's going to cost the team the match most likely, but still, it's a feature in the game. You can't report someone for playing a feature in the game, okay? So be careful of that, because if you get caught reporting someone like that, you might get banned instead. So watch out and just enjoy the game no matter what mode you're playing. In this video, I'm going to be explaining what a throw talent is and going over all throw and bad talents on all support champions in the game right now. But basically, I want you to keep in mind that in casual games like Team Deathmatch and Onslaught and even Casual Siege, there are no throw talents. Casual is supposed to be fun, pure fun. Ranked is supposed to be a team-based game, not you going versus 9 people, your team and your enemy team. So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to start with Io. Okay, so this is the good talent and these two are throw talents. Not only because of the math, but because they are counterable, whereas this is not. If Luna is dead, you don't get any of this benefit. If the match has just started, everyone's got Korra 1 and this number is 150. Late game it's gonna be 50. So basically, I have a talent at the beginning of round 1 and then I don't have anything worth my time. This is why this is a throw talent. And this has the same reasoning. Well, and more actually, more than just that. So basically, if Luna dies, you don't have a talent. So you've got to keep Luna way back and protected and not be able to use neither her stun or her damage or her utility of capturing and contesting the objective. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pick Sacrifice just to show you what I mean by that. You have to keep Luna away, okay? She cannot be in the enemy's line of sight because if she dies, you don't have a talent, you're useless. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and die and count how many seconds it takes for me to switch places. It's actually around 4 seconds of being in that lockout animation, and then I have to go and walk all the way to my team and heal them, okay? Well, this is just sad because if a flanker just killed you, you're way in the back line now and they're just gonna follow you and kill you again, most likely. As a matter of fact, even if they just killed you, that trade might just be good since maybe you're running solo support, okay? And a team without a support is just gonna fall quickly. Now, this is why Sacrifice is a throw talent. It removes all utility from Io, exactly all of it, the damage from Luna, the capturing and contesting, and worst of all, sometimes you might actually get killed because you put Luna on the objective and someone flanked you and then you respawn right on the objective where every enemy is gonna be looking. Okay, so after a push, this is still bad. You're always going to have Luna on the point. So this talent translates to, I have no utility and I'm playing 1v9. It's good in team deathmatch, I can understand that, but why would you even consider running Io, a point and capture and siege mode oriented champion? Why? Yeah, it's fun, I understand, but there are better options if you're looking to win in casual, like in team deathmatch. Now, Corvus is still new. I understand that I shouldn't be judging his talents yet. However, this is your go-to talent no matter what. I understand that this gives you an easy stun to land, a full 1 second stun by the way. However, the second effect of it, which is 600 damage, is not always gonna be confirmable. It's good for your self-defense, yes, I understand that. However, the utility of Corvus comes from him marking your two flankers. By the way, you run two flankers with Corvus since you're gonna be dealing way more damage as a flank, and they have the increased life rip from your cards as Corvus. So this is your go-to talent. This can work and has situations where it's great, not just good. Okay, but it's not confirmable damage, it's an easy stun, it's a confirmable stun. And stuns kill people, kill flankers. That's what this does. However, this, on paper, you might think, oh, let's give our one marked ally resilience, 15% resilience, Chronos 1 for free, and nearly deft hands 1 for free, and a non-existent healing per second. Really, this is just nothing. This is bad. Why? Well, simple enough, you're supposed to be pocketing your flanker as Corvus. Which flanker would benefit from cooldowns being reduced from Chronos? I don't know. Is Maeve gonna get anything good out of reduction of 1 second off of her prowl and her 9 lives? And her pounds? I don't know. I don't think so. This is just bad. That's why it's the level 0 talent. It's useless and people complain about it. What are you supposed to be doing with this? Well, the use of this is you actually pocket the tank, and tanks get more benefits out of all of these things except the reload speed, while you go and follow the flanker and heal them with your right mouse button. It's just bad. That's not how you're supposed to be running Corvus. Corvus is a cancer enabler. What I mean by cancer is something like Moji and Koga. Okay, so if they can stay alive, they do way too much damage. Okay, that's how you play with Corvus. This is what you want to go for in every situation, except when you already have too much healing, which you go for Stunning Visage instead. Now, when it comes to Maldamba, I can't think of any of his talents being a throw talent. It's all context based. If you're a solo support, this is what you go for. This actually helps your flankers stay alive, but you need really good aim in order to even think of playing Damba. You've got to hit your flankers with this. That's why people run cards that if they miss the heal, they just get it back in like a half a second or a second, depending on what you're running. Now, keep in mind that if you're gonna be buying Chronos, which you will anyway if you're a solo support Damba, you don't need to run the card, which is this one, at 5. Simply enough, 3 tiers of Chronos will make this a 0.1 second cooldown if you miss. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, let's go ahead and talk about Ripened Gourd. Now, if you have solo tank Inara, this is really great for that, since Inara is gonna have built-in 40% rejuvenate and can buy a little bit more. It's gonna be around 49% if I remember correctly. 49% healing. This just is great. You're going to be nearly unaffected by Cauterize. Well, you are affected on Inara, but still, this is just too much healing. Now, just keep in mind that this will actually put you in combat even though it says it no longer damages enemies. If some enemy is standing in it, yes, they take no damage, however, you're gonna be put back in combat. You cannot heal out of combat while the gourd is out there healing your allies. This is kind of sad given that this is the bug that's plaguing this talent. It has its own good situations that you would run it in, but this is what you go for. Now, here's the thing about Rikono's Wrath, which is this one. Now, when you're running solo support Damba, you do not have the budget to be building of the item Deft Hands, which you need to get the maximum value out of Icono's Wrath. Simply enough, this talent is bad. It's not a draw pick, it's just bad if you're in double supports, as long as you haven't amassed 1500 credits. That's just kind of sad. So what exactly do you do after you've bought Deft Hands 3? Well, you've become a backline defender. That's great. Even though resilience is gonna affect this, just watch how fast we can burst down Victor. And he's dead in 2 reloads, and the extra shot that happens before the first reload. Now, keep in mind that the stun will actually make enemies immune to stuns for 3 seconds. Here, watch this. He's not stunned, he's not stunned, he's not stunned, and he died then. So keep in mind that the stun is annoying until people buy resilience. Now, once people buy resilience, you've gained some economical advantage, you know. Maybe a point tank will cry because you're stunning them all the time, and they're becoming sitting ducks. This is what Icono's Wrath is about. It's bad because it requires 1500 credits. You need to win the first capture. You need to make sure that you build up enough credits to be able to pull off such stunts. Now, this talent goes better and better over time, and then resilience reduces its value. Now, when it comes to Furia, Cherish is your go-to talent that will work no matter what the situation is, whether or not you're a solo support or running double support. It's just that good, okay? Now, people might consider running Exterminate or Solar Blessing, however, they are both bad. Let's go ahead and explain why Solar Blessing is bad first. Now, the reason Solar Blessing died in 2020 is just because it got this nerf, which is a reduction to the speed of Power Strike by 30%. Now, bad and stupid Furia players will say, "You're missing the beam, why aren't you standing in the beam?" Okay, no, you're the one missing the beam as Furia. Especially in casual, why would you even think anyone would hit the beam if it does not have an indicator? Okay, in ranked, you've got to use a mic if you're playing this, otherwise don't. Okay, this is just bad and sad. I know it can make an ally nearly invincible, and no, you can still kill people in the beam, by the way, under Core 3. Well, it's just sad, really. I know it's double sources of healing, however, you lost the utility of the stun. You're not going to be aiming this at an enemy, you're going to be aiming it at your point tank. You've lost the stun. Now, Exterminate is also a draw talent. It's just being picked in ranked and casual because there is a stupid Battle Pass challenge that requires you to play X bad champion on Y bad talent, or maybe a good champion on a bad talent, such as the case here. So I'm going to show you what people do when they run this bad talent. They play something like this, okay? Not exactly this, but similar to it. So one beam, and then they dash away, and you have 2 beams. Yeah, very funny. Now, I need to tell you this. The 3 projectiles which you shoot when you dash away with Furia actually have so many problems with them that it's not even guaranteed to hit 1. Well, I might just switch sides on the map and show you why. I'm just going to dash away from Fernando, okay, after I beam someone else. And I didn't get all 3 shots. Because if I did, if you look at the loadout that I'm using, it says reduce the cooldown of Power Strike by 4 seconds for each hit. And the base cooldown of it is 12. So 3 hits are going to be exactly that much. However, it was not completely reset. One of those shots missed or something happened to it. So many maps will have these weird situations where any elevation or any object sticking out of the ground will destroy your shots. And thus you will not have 2 beams. Maybe you're dashing around the corner and only one of those did hit. You see why this doesn't work? Even if you can have 2 beams, it's simply not something you would want to run. Now, I just went into a bot game just to talk about this card. This card is bugged currently. Let me show you what I mean by that. So, I don't have my Power Strike on cooldown, and yet, if I heal someone, look here, it's already been activated. The internal cooldown, which is, if you look at it here, a 20-second internal cooldown has activated. This is kind of sad given that you cannot be healing and saving your beam up. You have to waste the beam before using this card. Look, now I got the effect. So you throw the beam and then use it. This is why if you see someone playing this at higher than 1, just cringe at it. Okay, don't call him out or be toxic about it. It's just this is either an intentional design choice, or this is a bug that's not been well admitted to be a bug. This has been reported 5 months ago, and still this is not admitted to be a bug. Now, when it comes to Grok, he is kind of in a funny situation right now where he can heal for an amazing amount as long as everyone's stacking on the point, which is never the case, okay? This does get great amounts of healing numbers, upwards of 200k as a matter of fact. However, Grok is never run as the main support. That's just not going to work, okay? You might make it work yourself, but in general, you don't want to be running Grok as a support. Now, this is a throw talent. Let me show you why. Okay, let's just use whatever we have right now. So basically, let's imagine this is the point. So I've deployed this. It will heal while I'm using this talent. It's increased a little bit. It's gonna be around 300 healing. Okay, and I can use this 3 times. Now look, I did use it 3 times. Check how long it's gonna take for all 3 charges to build up. So now I've waited 8 full seconds. I've got 1 charge. I'm gonna need to wait another full 8 until I have the second totem. Let's just wait a bit. Should be now. Okay, and then I have to wait another full 8. Well, basically what this talent is, you have a 3rd charge that exists at the start of the round, and then you never reach any case where you will be regenerating it, no matter what cards and reset cards, like for example this one, you're running. It's just simply not going to work. And this is an ancient loadout that I should delete, by the way. This isn't what Grok is about anymore. And the only talent that you'll be seeing Grok playing in ranked is this one, and he's not even considered a double support. Even though he can heal for 250, it's still not considered a double support composition, okay? He's just playing damage. That's it. Now, Grover, on paper, does not have a throw talent, simply because you're gonna be running this whether or not you wanna be the main support that's healing or not. This is simply too much value. You can hit your entire enemy team. If the enemy has, for example, Ying, you're just gonna shoot or use your crippling throw on a clone, and that would be enough for your entire enemy team to be crippled and rooted. They can't move for a second, okay? And it's great for stopping Maeve in her tracks. You can even get Drogos down if you don't have a counter for him using this. You know, if he's flying willy-nilly and no one's stopping him, you can at least try to send him down so that your team can kill him. Now, this is your go-to talent, no matter what kind of composition you have, single or double support. However, on maps like Frog Isle, you might actually want to be a sniper with Grover. Okay, it's good enough to warrant running. It's actually going to let you deal nearly as much damage as a damaged champion would if he's a backliner. Well, not nearly as much, it's just a little bit less if you're that great on Grover. And yes, Grover can carry games with this talent. I understand that. However, this is better if you're a solo support. Now, Rampant Blooming is sort of well, it's in a bad spot right now because not only is it a heal over time, which is always bad, this can be either already affected by Cauterize, and Cauterize will refresh by the time this ends, or Cauterize will start after you've applied a little bit of this. So basically, this is just gonna be countered with Cauterize. And late game, it's going to translate to, this is actually 100 every second, right? So Cauterize 3 will make that 25 every second. This is just 75 healing per second more. It's just basically nothing. That's why no one runs it. None of them are throw talents. It's just that this one is bad and this one is map dependent. You're not gonna be using this in close range maps, okay? You can't snipe on those maps. Now, when thinking about raw talents, you've got to take the context of the match and the composition of both teams in that. So basically, if you're a solo support playing Genos, you better be running Luminary and on a good loadout at that. You can't be running either of these two. However, if you're a double support and Genos is one of the two supports, this is a good off support talent. Okay? Now, why is that the case? Simple enough, this will deal 840 damage total because it has 480 on the talent and 360 in the base kit to whomever you grab, and that person cannot escape. The only person in the game that can escape from this is Evie if she uses Ice Block, because she can do that and then she can escape. However, that's just one exception to the rule. Any other flanker is simply just gonna be there, they might just die. Okay, even Androxus is just gonna waste his reversal and then he's going to die after that. Now, keep in mind, this talent will become worse and worse as the game goes longer because people will buy resilience and this will become useless late game. So keep in mind, a raw talent is defined by both it's not giving great value to the team and it's getting weaker and weaker and counterable by the enemy team as the time passes. This is not a raw talent. It's good, it's great. It just forces you to try to win as fast as you can before the enemy buys resilience. As a matter of fact, your enemy buying resilience is an advantage to your team, so this is good only in double support comps. However, if you ask anyone about running Genos in double support comps, they're gonna say just no, please no. Okay, because Genos does not have the same damage as Ying would, even if he's running Binary Star. Now I'm going to explain why Binary Star is bad, while it has some situations where it can be good, such as, for example, well, you aren't running solo support, but the last pick decided to go damage, okay? Or for some reason they had to go damage, I don't know. And you just don't trust them to be able to use this to deal the required damage to finish off tanks. This can work in that situation only. Okay, now keep in mind that this will have so much fall off on it regardless. The main benefit of running this talent is you don't run out of ammo.
Fighting evil with crystal starlight.
7 bullets, and it's gonna take me so long to empty the magazine. So look at this, I'm standing here and the distance to that victor is a little bit more than 90 units. And I'm not dealing the full 360, now that was a headshot. So basically what the talent does is, as long as you're at close range, only close range, you're dealing 360. Okay, so some people will say and argue that this turns Genos into Leon except no auto-aim. What? Sorry, Leon does 400. This is kind of sad, okay? You have to be really close to get the full damage. Now let's just go ahead and say maybe Genos is playing safe like every Genos would, and he's shooting someone all the way over there. What is this damage? 150? That's just poke, okay? So keep in mind that this talent is kind of weird. It's in a bad spot right now. It's just not going to work. Not with the current damage and fall off it has. And also, you've got to keep in mind that it's not an accurate talent. You don't have the smallest crosshair size on this. So you might actually miss a headshot while you're aimed right at the enemy. It's not completely accurate. And what's worse is, you did not increase your your time to kill by anything at close range. You deal 900 damage per second on any talent on Genos. The only difference is that you've reduced the amount of ammo you spent to kill the enemy. Now, I've entered a bot match just to say that Mega Potion will not work if you're a solo support. It's not a draw talent, okay? It's not a draw talent, it's just bad. Now, people will say that Pip as a whole, as a solo support, might be a draw pick, okay? That's just a controversial topic. People will keep on talking about this. No one likes Pip because he cannot heal the flanker reliably, especially if it's a flying flanker. Well, you have 3 of those. mainly Andrew, Maeve, and you can say Eevee too. Okay, you're not gonna hit a blast shot to heal anyone. Let me just show you why Mega Potion does not work as a solo support, no matter what your composition is other than double support. So basically what you do with Mega Potion is, as long as you hit 2 people or more, you can use the potion again instantly. However, if you notice this, which is something that was on the right, I have an internal cooldown on that, so I can only use double potions once, okay? And that is based on 2 conditions. 1, did I hit people with it, and 2 people at that, okay? So let me just show you the loadout card. Where is it? Reload. So reduce the cooldown of healing potion by 2.4 seconds for each ally it hits. Its base cooldown is 8, okay? So if you hit 2 people, you can nearly instantly draw another potion in. That's a lot of healing, I understand that, okay? It keeps any point tank alive. Well, not late game really. It's only a 250, so 2 of them are 500. That's laughable late game. That's just nearly enough to let a tank take 1 more shot, okay, on both potions. And then if you look at the card, it's right here, it has an internal cooldown of 5 seconds. This is just sad. Now people will combo it with this one, which is going to always be available for you. You're going to be shooting and dealing damage with Pip no matter what talent you're playing, except with maybe combat medic. And this will simply reduce the cooldown even further. However, it's not reliable. At max, this is gonna be half a second per hit, and you will be shooting this fast. And I can't aim. Well, simple enough, this is why Mega Potion is bad. Some people can carry games with it, but I don't care. That's just the exception to the rule. It's just that it does not happen to be consistent. If you miss, you just lost so much value. And I missed, just like that, just by mistiming it. So keep in mind, you don't want to be running Mega Potion on Pip. Now keep in mind that if your team in casual gameplay has left you as Pip as a solo support, you're gonna want to run Combat Medic. This is your healing talent. Well, this is good since it's a 700 healing per hit. However, remember, Cauterize exists. So basically, on Cauterize 2, which is at the end of the first round, you're going to be healing for 350 per hit. So you've got to keep in mind that you've got to wait until your allies are out of Cauterize if they're safe. Don't just spam your shots. You're just gonna waste your time and your allies' time and get less value out of it. Well, simple enough, this talent can work, however, it denies you your damage. You're shooting your friends instead of shooting the enemy, so you're not gonna be dealing that much damage, maybe except if you're healing the point tank while they're stacked up against the enemy tank, then the shot will both deal damage to the enemy and heal your ally. So this is your go-to talent for a solo support. However, people like playing Pip just to play damage with him, since Catalyst alongside his ult, well, that's just amazing utility for your team. Pip can win fights, he can defend the point while all enemies are nearly gonna push it. It's just that amazing on both the defensive and the offensive. Pip's ult captures points on overtime every time. So you play Catalyst since you're going to be getting more of your ult charge when you're hitting enemies. You can still be a Catalyst team member. You can play something like this. Well, maybe import the newer loadouts from Snoofy. Okay? It works just simply because you're not running solo support. However, you can still play it with the team. It's just that you lose some of your own advantages if you were playing pure damage Pip, which is maybe something like this card, or check out the newer loadouts, okay? Some people don't run Moxie since they kind of, well, hate the card after it got the nerf. Well, simple enough, when you want to run Pip, try to avoid Mega Potion no matter what. It's bad, it's not a draw pick, it's not a draw talent, it's just that no situation that is going to be real where you're gonna need this. Now, as a matter of fact, Ceres herself is a throw pick in ranked because she has barely any utility and her ult is mediocre. And late game, her entire healing will amount to nothing. You cannot pocket someone with Ceres. Anyone that has Cauterize will completely deny that ally of your healing. You'll be healing them for, well, 100 per, well, let's just say per half a second, and the entire healing is 375 over the 1.5 seconds of not running this one. And this is the throw talent, and this is the throw talent too. This is what you would even think of running if you want to play Ceres that badly in ranked. This lets you have up to around 3k health and deal enough damage to be able to 1v1 any flanker except Androxus before they kill you. Okay? You simply have this much power as damaged Ceres. Damaged Ceres is not a valuable pick anyway. Okay, now some people still run it just because she can do stealth pushes as well as some other niche uses for her as an off tank, a semi off tank. However, as soon as she dies, she just becomes useless until she builds up those stacks again. So Ceres herself is a throw pick. Let's explain why Mortal Reach is a throw. Well, simple enough. Your base healing, let's just go with whatever, is over 1.5 seconds. You are healing over time. Now, during that animation,
You still have youth.
while you're channeling, you cannot shoot, you cannot activate any abilities, you can't even ult. Okay? So basically, you're a spectator. Really, you are just spectating. Well, what you can do is shoot in between heals like this. And this is why Ceres doesn't run out of ammo, by the way, because she runs a card that regenerates her ammo if she heals someone. Now, the problem is with this, you're waiting 2.5 seconds without doing anything but healing, and that healing, even with this talent, which is going to amount to 600 over 2.5 seconds, that's not enough to do anything for your team. Okay, so this is bad. If you die, you just become useless, and Agony is kind of a joke. Why is it a joke? Well, you are going to stun those enemies, yes, for 1.5 seconds. However, by the time you've stacked 4 soul charges on them, they might have just already killed you, and you're busy fighting someone 1v1 as a support, okay, while your team just dies. Why would you run Agony? Okay, why? Are you that selfish player that's just wants to play 1v9? It's just bad. It's bad. Now, when it comes to Ying, well, it's debatable that she even has a throw talent, okay? Let's go ahead and explain things. This is your solo support talent on Ying. You've got to be the support, you've got to be healing. This is why Ying gets the most healing numbers in the entire game, okay? Because you have 2 sources of healing that are not actually that hard to pull off, okay? So if you're running double support, both of these can work, except people will hate you and flame you and be toxic if they see you running resonance, just because they're assuming that you're doing this. So instead of your clones healing anyone, you just summon them and then immediately shatter them. So people think that this is how you play resonance, while as a matter of fact, you can use these clones to just block off flanks. Anyone that comes and tries to destroy them is just gonna take free 500 damage from them. Okay, so basically there are amazing resonance Ying players. However, it's still agreed upon to be the worst talent to be playing, because focus and glance, you never use shatter, you never destroy your clones, and you yourself deal that difference of damage. Now, before we end the video, I just would like to remind you one more time, please do not be toxic to others that are playing these bad talents, okay? It just doesn't matter, you can win anyway. We've won, me and my friends, ranked games where we did not even have a support because our last pick was a troll, and we won anyway, Okay, that's possible. You can still do it. Never give up, never surrender. That's the main thing. If you give up on the game just before it starts because someone's playing a raw talent or a bad talent, you're just playing the game wrong. So make sure that you're enjoying Paladins.